Hello, I'm Debanjan Chakravarti, Head of English Interface Program of the British Council in India, and I'm in conversation with my colleague Alan McKenzie, Senior Training Consultant and our resident expert on monitoring and evaluation. Welcome, Alan, and thanks for your time.
You're welcome.
Alan, what do you think is the value of a conference like this in improving quality of teacher education in India and in the region?
Well, it enables a lot of people to come together in the same space and exchange views on exactly what we want in the future, what current thinking is in terms of research and best practice in the field, and enables a large number of people, in this case I think we have around about 1,200 people at the conference, to get a lot of information over an intensive period of time. It also enables people to talk outside of the presentation sessions and to process a lot of that information and decide what actions they're going to take afterwards.
And at this conference you mentioned 1,200 people, but we have tried a few things using our digital platform as well. So we've been webcasting, we have been sort of tweeting about it, there's Facebook, so we are reaching out to a much larger audience through this conference. Just coming back to the theme of the conference, Alan, it's evaluation and assessment. How does that resonate with you professionally?
Professionally, I think evaluation and assessment is key to everything that we do and should be at the heart of all of our planning processes, all of our implementation processes, because if we don't know what the outcomes are of what we do, then we shouldn't really be doing them in the first place. If we don't know what the value of what we do is, then how do we know what to do next, whether it's succeeded, whether it's been successful, or whether it's failed and we need to stop doing it and start doing something else. So monitoring everything that we do and evaluating everything that we do in a concrete way and an open and honest way is absolutely essential.
Do you think there's a bit of a healthy conflict or a debate around this very utilitarian kind of evaluation driven model of education that you're speaking about, and a slightly more humanist view of education being being provided generally?
Well, I wouldn't call it a
upliftment.
humanist view, because even in from a humanist perspectives on education have outcomes. Now, those can be particularly difficult outcomes, say creating global citizens. But if we use something like the Oxfam Global Citizen Framework, we can look at how those outcomes are being achieved and how well those outcomes are being achieved by different projects. I wouldn't say humanist, because I am a humanist and I believe in humanist educational principles, but I would say fuzzy outcomes and fuzzy objectives, which often take a fuzzy approach to implementation. And if you have a fuzzy approach to implementation, a fuzzy approach to planning, you're only ever going to get fuzzy results. There are ways of looking at more holistic, more whole person development outcomes in a concrete way. It doesn't mean that they can't be examined. The problem is that they're not examined. And the assumption is that because humanistic approaches or these kinds of things are part of education, then automatically people learn them. Well, they don't necessarily automatically learn them. Just because I talk about them in a class doesn't mean that the kids are going to learn it. And even if they do learn it, it doesn't mean that they're going to change their behaviour to match the original principles of that humanistic way of looking at things. So we need to look at, one, whether they're actually learning those principles, two, whether they're putting those principles into action, and three, whether it actually results in greater awareness of being, say, global citizen, for example, in the future.
Right now there is a lot of discussion and conversations going on in various circles in India on CCE. What is your take on that? Is it being taken in the right spirit, the way the CCE model is being rolled out, especially at the primary education level and language learning across states?
It really depends on what you mean by CCE. In some states that's been interpreted as testing students every week and giving them formal tests of language ability, for example, in the English classroom. That's not what the original intention of CCE was. And say, for example, that the CCE pack that we've developed in West Bengal with Adrian Tennant as an advisor, it's actually been developed by the local teachers in primary system in West Bengal. they have come up with a much more humanistic way of approaching assessment in that sense, in that the tasks that the students are given to do are the kinds of tasks that are mirroring the learning tasks that they're taking part in. So it's almost like the kids don't necessarily know they're being assessed on whether they can achieve those results or not. And the information is there for the teacher to put back into the learning process and decide what the next steps should be. Do they move on to the next language item or whatever they're going to learn next, or does she need to practice that a bit more with them and then run the assessment again? I think if you implement CCE intelligently, it can be a very, very positive thing. But it's like any great idea, implemented poorly and you've got a mess.
All right. Alan, you've also been involved in developing sort of monitoring and evaluation frameworks for our projects in India. And you're also working with staff developing monitoring and evaluation and impact evaluation of our projects.
Yes.
Would you like to tell us a little bit more about those projects that you're involved in?
Well, I'll tell you about the general principle and what we're trying to do within the British Council is to enable our project managers to better look at the impact that we're having on the ground and better record that impact so that we actually have concrete data, numbers that can tell us how much is changing and what way it's changing. In the past, we've looked at the number of people we're reaching, the number of people that are taking training courses, and we've done a little bit of surveying of what they do after those training courses. But now we're looking much more at the actual outcomes of our programs and whether they're actually having an impact on the systems that we're working with. And in my case, it's state school education systems, when we're invited in by a state government. What I've found is that our staff are very, very receptive to this and they're very interested in doing it, but they do realise there's a lot more work, a lot of extra effort needs to be made to actually gather that data and process it. And what we need to do is work out what information processing systems we can embed within normal project processes and normal state processes so that we can gather that information more effectively and efficiently.
Thank you so much for being in conversation with us, Alan. Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah.